Hello everyone, welcome. This is a slightly more vigorous paced practice, which will hopefully get your heart rate going a little bit, get some warmth going in your body, as well as build some overall strength and balance. So we're going to start right away on our hands and knees. And you know what, before we even start to move, just sit back onto your heels, or if you need to sit in a different position, that's more than fine. And we'll just take a breath. So it's important to kind of take this shift of our focus and our attention away from everything that we've just been doing, our life, our work, our home life, whatever it is, and shift our focus towards our practice, being on our mat, being in our body, being in our breath. So if you can close your eyes, do so, and then just take a nice, slow and steady breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you breathe out, let your shoulders soften a little bit, let your face relax, and then one more nice, conscious, deliberate breath. Just like that. So slow inhale through the nose. And a nice smooth exhale out through your mouth. Now let your eyes gently open and let's shift through to hands and knees. Now we'll start to move. So a couple rounds of your cat-cow just to warm up. So inhale to really reach your chest forwards, gather your shoulders back, and see if you can really open up across the front of your chest, your collarbones. And then on an exhale, take a really strong scoop of your belly up towards your spine, trying to feel that engagement of your abdominals. Round your back as much as possible, and then go again. Inhale, shoulders gather back, chest reaches forwards. Exhale, hug and scoop abdominals towards your spine. Press the floor away from you. One more time. Inhale, opening the chest, nice broad collarbones. Exhale, nice big rounding of your spine. Now back to neutral. Let's tuck our toes. Just sit your hips back onto your heels. Let's take your arms out and give your wrists a little roll, since we will be weight bearing on our hands quite a bit. So let's warm up our wrists. Arms above your head, roll them back down as you take your arms down, and then arms up and flick your fingers like you're flicking little water droplets off. Flick, 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 flick as fast as you can. Really spread your hands as wide as you can. Close them into little fists. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then drop your arms, shake it out. Roll the shoulders forwards and up on an inhale, back and down on an exhale. One more time. Nice big shoulder roll, breathing in and breathing out. Hands to the mat, right underneath your shoulders, toes tucked, and let's press back to downward facing dog. So checking that your hands are shoulder width apart. Your fingers are spread out nice and wide, and you're kind of grabbing at the mat with your finger pads slightly. You want to actively press the floor away from you through your hands, through your arms, so you're not sinking or hanging into your joints, but you're lengthening and supporting your joints. Let's take 2 rounds of breath here in downward dog. Again, just kind of a little warm up. So inhale. Exhale, long, strong arms. And again, breathing in and breathing out. Now let's either step or walk or hop our feet up to the top of our mat, whatever you choose to do. Feet are hip width apart. Soft bend in your knees, and let's roll up to stand. So one bone at a time, rolling all the way up to stand. Once you're standing, separate your feet about mat width apart. Turn your toes slightly out and your heels slightly in, and we'll take our hands into just a prayer position, center of our chest, more just a place to kind of put our arms. Bending your knees towards your yogi squat, really making sure that you're pressing your knees outwards towards your pinky toes, and you're keeping your spine nice and long. Come down just as far as you can with muscular control, and then with a nice smooth exhale, press your heels into the ground, hug your inner thighs together, come back up to stand. We'll do 4 more of those. So slowly lowering down with control. Keep your spine nice and long. Press into your heels, hug inner thighs together, and stand tall. 3 more. Lowering down, inhale. Slowly squeezing back up to stand, exhale. And 2 more. Warming up our legs, starting to get our blood moving. And press into your heels. Hug the inner thighs together. Stand tall. Last one. Inhale, lowering. And exhale. Press, press, press. And stand tall. Let's parallel the feet. Hands interlace behind you. Inhale, puff open the chest. And exhale, fold forwards. Keep that little bend in your knees as much as you need to. Bobble out your head. You can say a little yes, a little no. Get your neck nice and long. And inhale, breath into the shoulder stretch. And exhale, breath. Hands reach to the back of your pelvis. Come on back up to stand. Keep your feet nice and wide. Right arm reaches to the ceiling, and then take a side stretch up and over to the left. And then inhale, come back up through center. And other side, left arm up and over. Your right hand is sliding down the side of your right leg. And one more time. So come on up, inhale, breath. And left hand slides down left leg, exhale, breath. Last one, left arm reaches up. And breathe out to slide that right hand down the outside of your right thigh. Come on back up to center. Walk your feet together underneath your hips. Inhale, arms reach up. And exhale, fold forwards. Half lift. Breathe in, really lengthen your spine. Reach out of the crown of your head, and then exhale, step your right foot back. Lower your knee to the mat. Arms come all the way up to crescent lunge. Reach long, inhale. Now exhale, bend your elbows and kind of press your forearms, your wrists, your elbows back as you circle the arms down. And we'll do that one more time. So arms reach up, breathing in. Bend your elbows, hug the shoulders back, press back through the elbows, and circle the arms down. Inhale, fingertips reach towards the ceiling, and exhale, hands down. Three-legged dog. Take your left leg back behind you, and bend your left knee, stacking your left hip on top of the right. Take an inhale, press that knee and shin high, and then exhale, left shin onto your mat about halfway up your mat, and turn the left foot out to the left side. So you're coming to a supported side plank shape here, and if you want to stay here, that's great, you can stay here. If you're going to add on, we're coming into our reversed side plank, so lifting that left leg off the ground and kicking your left foot straight out in front of you. Taking 4 or 5 little pulses with your hips and with that inner thigh, left inner thigh. So up and press into the ground strongly with that bottom hand. And one more time, little pulse up, and then thread all the way back through to that three-legged dog. Let's bend the knee again and stack your hip open. Take an inhale breath. And left foot to the mat, exhale, breath. Roll forwards to your plank pose, shoulders over wrists, and really get a nice strong core connection here. Belly button lifting up towards your lower spine, almost as if your tailbone is trying to point all the way down towards your heels. Let's take an inhale breath and spin your heels over towards one side on your exhale. Center as you breathe in. And heels to the other side, breathe out. One more time, each direction. Inhale, center, spin the heels, exhale. Center, inhale, and then to the other side, exhale. Now back to center, and on your exhale, bend your knees and try to pull your knees towards your wrists and your wrists towards your knees. And then inhale, lengthen the legs, and again, exhale, bend the knees, try to pull them forwards towards your wrists. And one more time, inhale, legs straighten, and exhale, knees bend, 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 and bring them all the way to the mat. Right arm opens to the ceiling, taking a nice rotation of the spine. Inhale, reach open the chest, and exhale, thread your right arm through, so underneath the left, so the right side of your cheek, your head can come to the floor, and then crawl your left fingertips all the way out in front of you. Taking a nice little spin here, like you could almost peek up underneath that left shoulder, that left armpit. One full breath in and out. And then let's unthread that needle. So left hand under left shoulder. Open your right arm to the ceiling again. And place your right hand down, downward facing dog. Right leg sweeps up to the ceiling. Inhale, three-legged dog. Step forwards. Actually, I lied. Hug your right knee into your forehead on your exhale. And then back to three-legged dog. Breathe in. And knee to forehead again on your exhale. And then this time, step your foot between your hands. Keep that left hand tented to the floor. Nice little rotation here. Again, open that right arm towards the ceiling. Big inhale. And then exhale, right hand comes down. And we'll step into that right leg for a standing L. So left leg totally straight. Press that heel up towards the ceiling. I want you to inhale and then exhale. Press that left heel up a little bit more. And then little pulses. Inhale, lower a little bit. Exhale, press left heel a little higher. Inhale, lower a couple inches. Last one. Exhale, press that left heel higher. Soften both knees. Step that left foot underneath your left hip. And let's sit our hips back and down into chair pose. So really drawing your hips back behind you so you've got more of your weight in your heels. Arms lengthen all the way out in front of you. Easy shoulders. Put all the work into your belly, into your core. Let's take a couple little pulses. So just a few little kind of lowers and lifts and lowers and lifts. And one more. Little lower and little lift. Hands to prayer. Hover your right foot off the ground. One-legged chair. Inhale. Stretch back to your warrior three on your exhale. Some people call this airplane. Try to feel like you're flying above the ground. And then back to one-legged chair, pulling that right knee forwards, nice and controlled. And then back to that warrior three on your exhale. Pulling forwards into one-legged chair. Place your right foot next to your left, and this time hug your inner thighs together. Again, thumbs to center of chest. Inhale, gather your shoulders back, and then we'll twist it out. Left elbow to outside of your right thigh, and take a nice little press of your top hand into your bottom hand. 2 rounds of breath. So breathing in, and as you breathe out, try to slide your shoulders down away from your ears as you spin your chest towards your thumbs. One more time, inhale, and then exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen out the spine, left foot steps back, lower your knee gently to the floor. Arms sweep up to crescent lunge, inhaling, bend your elbows and press those elbows, wrists, forearms back as you circle your arms down on your exhale. One more time. Arms rise, breathe in, bend the elbows, pull them back on your exhale, circle down. Arms rise, inhale, breath. And then hands to the mat, three-legged downward dog. Right leg is reaching back behind you. Bend the knee and stack your right hip on top of the left. Stay here for an inhale. And then breathing out, right shin onto your mat, about halfway up. Turn your right foot out to the right side. Adjust that right hand as needed so it's underneath your shoulder. Supported side plank, stay if you'd like. Or reversed side plank, hug that right thigh up and kick the foot forwards. Now little pulses from underneath your hips and from that inner right thigh. So pulsing up, and you're pressing so strongly into the ground with that bottom hand, and up, and one more time, up, and all the way back to that three-legged dog. Knee is bent, hip stacks open, inhaling, and then right foot to the mat, downward dog, exhale. Moving forwards to your plank pose again. So shifting forwards, make sure wrists are directly underneath your shoulders. Really long spine and a strong core connection. This time, hover your right foot off of the mat. flexing that foot, and take 2 little pulses of your heel towards the ceiling. So right heel pulses up, and then toes to the mat. Other side, left leg pulses up, and toes to the mat. And again, right leg up, and bring it down. Left leg up, and take it down. Now bending the knees again, just like we did, try to pull your knees towards your wrists towards your knees. And then lengthen the legs. And then again, bend the knees, pulling knees and wrists towards each other. And lengthen. And then exhale, knees bend, 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 all the way till they find the mat. Left arm opens to the ceiling, finding that nice twist. Take an inhale and thread left arm underneath the right on your exhale. Thread the needle and then crawl that right hand all the way out in front of you to the top of your mat, and feel like you're trying to kind of peek underneath your right shoulder, your right armpit towards the ceiling. 1 full round of breath there. And then we'll unthread. So come on back through. Left arm opens. And left hand to the mat. Downward dog. Hips up and back. And then left leg rises as you breathe into your 3-legged dog. Reach that leg so long. Hug your knee to your forehead on your exhale. Finding that same sort of scoop of your belly to your lower spine. And then back to 3-legged dog. Inhale. Hug your knee forwards, and this time step your foot between your hands. Right hand tense to the floor. Open that left arm into your low twisted lunge. Nice full wide open breath. Nice broad open chest. And then standing L. So fingertips out in front of you, and your right heel is pressing up towards the ceiling. Taking a few little pulses. So press that right heel a little higher and then a little lower. And 2 more times. Reaching up and away and lower, and 1 more time. Pressing up, 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 and then soften both knees. Right foot underneath your right hip. Come on up into chair pose. Knees always tracking. Be mindful of that, tracking over your middle toes. Arms out in front of you. A couple little pulses here. Really trying to feel the pulse being initiated from underneath your seat. So from your glute muscles and your hamstrings. Not so much just only from your quadriceps. And then here we're going to take hands together to prayer. Stay really secure through your core, your center. Hover that left foot off the ground. Take an inhale. Warrior 3 on your exhale. Crown of your head forwards, left foot stamps back. 1-legged chair, coming through with as much control as you can. Warrior 3 again, crown of the head forwards, left foot back. 1-legged chair, and then place your left foot next to your right foot. Hug those inner thighs together, sit down a little deeper. Gather your shoulders back, and then we'll twist right elbow to outside of your left thigh. And as always here, you want to make sure that your knees are staying in the same line. You're not twisting your hips. You're just twisting from your belly on up into your rib cage. 2 breaths, shoulders slide down away from your ears, long back of the neck. And last round of breath. On your exhale, forward fold, bowing over the legs. Let's take a halfway lift. And then just bend your knees enough that your knees can kind of separate towards the sides, and you can sink your hips down towards your heels, and hands will come out in front of you, shoulder width apart, like little frog arms. Okay? So from here, let's rock our weight forwards. You're going to lift your bum up towards the ceiling. Knees snuggle towards the backs of your arms. We're kind of playing with the crow pose idea. And you can rock your weight forwards, really initiating from your core. Maybe your feet stay on the ground and then you rock back, and you can do a couple of those. Just rocking a little bit more weight into your hands. If you want to, your feet can lift. Again, initiate from that deep, low core, rock back. And one more time, rocking forwards, maybe lifting the feet, maybe not. Put all the work, or as much of the work as you can, into your lower belly. And then as lightly as possible, feet find the ground, and extend the legs, forward fold. Let's interlace hands behind the pelvis, and just take a breath, again, to stretch out the shoulders. So an inhale, and an exhale. Fingertips to the floor, half lift. Hands place under shoulders. Step on back to your plank pose. Inhale into plank. Exhale, swizzle your heels over towards the left. Press into the floor with that left hand and reach your right arm towards the ceiling. Lift up from underneath your hips a little bit higher, and then slowly press that right hand down to the ground. Back through center, other side, heels swizzle to the right. Press down with that right hand and open your left arm up into side plank. Feel that again. I know I always say it, but lift up from underneath the bottom side of your waist and hips. And then top hand presses back down to the mat. Let's lower our knees so you're in a supported plank, and just re-engage that nice sort of wrapping of your outer arms, your triceps, in towards your rib cage, that nice broad chest and collarbones, and a super strong connection to your low belly, your core. Stay here if you want, or extend the legs for a little more challenge. Inhale, bend your elbows a couple of inches, keep your chest nice and broad. Exhale, belly button to spine to lengthen the arms. And inhale, elbows bend. Exhale, stronger core to lengthen the arms. Keep going, breathe in to bend. And exhale, belly button to spine, lengthen. 3 more, inhale, bend. And exhale, lengthen. Last 2, breathe in, don't lose that core connection. Exhale, straighten. Last 1, inhale, bend. And exhale, belly button to spine. And now let's bend the knees slowly to the floor, child's pose. Big old sigh if you'd like. Wiggle out the hips a little bit. And then we're going to pull forwards onto our belly. So just kind of slither on out to your belly. Once you're on your belly, let's take our arms to the sides, kind of in that bookend position. Elbows straight out from your shoulders, legs extended and parallel. Try to lift your belly button up away from the ground here so that your low core is again connected. And then let's press up through the backs of the hands and the backs of the elbows so your arms are kind of hovering up off of the mat, of the ground. Shoulder blades are gathering towards each other on the back of your chest. Now, if you can, lengthen and lift the legs at the same time and really reach forwards through the center of your chest. Take an inhale breath there, and then exhale, lower everything back down to the mat. Again, let's breathe in, belly button lifts, and exhale, press up through the backs of the arms, the wrists, shoulders hug together, chest reaches forwards, and legs lengthen and lift. We're going to stay here this time. Inhale where you are, and then exhale, slide your arms forwards. Try to keep your arms at about the same height as your ears. And then inhale, bend your elbows and pull them back down. And exhale, stretch the arms forwards. One more time. Inhale, elbows bend. Keep those shoulders hugging back. And exhale, reach those arms forwards. Inhale, arms come back. Now sweep those arms all the way back behind your pelvis and interlace your hands. Now you can really gather your shoulders back. Puff your chest even a little bit more. Maybe lengthen and lift your legs a little bit more. Stay, breathe, and then slowly release down. Hands in by your low ribs. Press it back again to child's pose. One full breath in and one full breath out. Now return to hands and knees. Downward dog, toes tuck, and hips high. Right leg rises, inhale. Knee to forehead, exhale. Three-legged dog, breathing in again. Stretch that leg long, knee to forehead, and step between your hands. Now we'll take our hands, both of them, to the inside of that right foot. We'll swizzle around to that long side of your mat. So let's go towards the left leg first. You're going to bend that left knee. Keep the sole of your foot on the ground, and then flex your right foot really strongly. Toes kind of point up towards the ceiling, and we're sitting down into our low side lunge. Inner thigh stretch. If you want to challenge yourself, hover your hands off the ground. Take an inhale breath, and then exhale smoothly with control. Switch to the other side. Again, inhale breath. And switch to the other side. Exhale. Breathing in. Now fingertips can come down to help you. We're going to shift to warrior two. So my right toes are pointing to the front of my mat. Left toes are pointing to that long side of the mat. And I'm going to rise all the way up, nice and tall. Sweep that right arm up and back into reversed warrior. Nice side stretch, side body reach. Inhale. And then lengthen forwards into side angle pose. So that can mean forearm on top of your thigh, or you can take it down, fingertips to the inside of your foot. Top arm reaching straight up to the ceiling, or for a little more side body stretch, lengthen that top arm in line with your top ear. Full breath in. Keep lengthening, full breath out. Now strong into your legs one more time, all the way up and back into that reversed warrior. Take a nice full breath to stretch and reach, and then cartwheel the hands down. Three-legged dog, right leg high, bend the knee, open up the hip, and we'll go for wild thing. If you need to skip it out, that's fine. So coming forward like you're coming to plank, and then shift to the outside edge of your left foot. Right toes to the ground behind you, and then press your hips open towards the ceiling, hug your shoulders back, and puff your chest open towards the top of your mat. Big, huge inhale breath. Stay to breathe out. Now gazing at the top of your mat for stability, slowly shift all the way back around. Both hands, both feet to the mat. Lower your knees down. Lower your right forearm down and place your forearm on a diagonal. And then extend your legs back. And we're coming to the outside edge of your right foot for a forearm side plank. Left hand to the top of your left hip. Lift up from underneath the underneath side of your right hip, right side waist. Having a hard time talking here. Now stay here for a little challenge. Press your left foot high and lower it down. And two more times. Press it up and lower it down. And one more time, keep those hips lifted. Left leg lifts and then bring it down. Come on through, both forearms to the mat. Forearm plank. Rock your weight forwards and then press your heels back. And one more time, little rock forwards and rock back. Come back to center, bring your knees to the floor, and then a little puppy dog pose. So hands about as wide as your mat. Crawl your fingertips forwards. You can let your forehead find the floor and a nice soft chest. So you're letting your sternum soften towards the floor. Stay for another round of breath. And then come on up. Lift your head, walk your hands underneath your shoulders, and let's pull forwards with your chest towards a supported plank. Take a little bend in your elbows. Pull your chest open towards kind of like a modified upward dog, or press the legs straight for a full upward dog, and then belly button to spine all the way back to your downward facing dog. Now I'm just going to switch around so that I'm not giving you a butt shot as we go to the other side. You can stay in the same orientation if you want. Let's take the left leg high on an inhale, hug knee to forehead on your exhale. Left leg high again, breathing in, and step forwards between your hands, breathing out. Come along to that long side of your mat, bend into your right knee, flex your left toes to the ceiling, low side lunge. Hands can hover if you want. Inhale breath, and switch sides, exhale breath. Stay to breathe in. Smoothly shift to the other side and breathe out. Again, stay to inhale. And then if you want fingertips down to help you, come all the way up to your warrior two position. Left arm sweeps up and back into reversed warrior. Stay for a full breath to really lengthen your waist as far away from your hips as you can. And then side angle pose. So again, forearm on top of thigh, or take it down towards the inside of your foot. Top arm reaching to ceiling or in line with your top ear. One round of breath. So we're not staying too long in each shape. Moving through a little more quickly. Coming back up to your reversed warrior. Flowing all the way up and back. And then hands, take that nice big cartwheel down, and we'll come to three-legged dog again with your left leg high. You're bending your knee and you're stacking your hip open. Coming to wild thing. So shifting your weight forwards towards plank. Come to outside edge of right foot. Left toes to the mat behind you. Press your hips open. Hug your shoulder blades onto the back of your chest. And take a big puff of your chest, of your sternum, towards that top edge of your mat again. Staying for a nice steady round of breath, and then coming out of this really mindfully, since you are weight bearing just on one hand. So gazing to the top of your mat and taking your time to shift all the way back around towards plank, where you'll then lower your knees. Left forearm down onto the mat on a diagonal. And come onto that forearm side plank. So left forearm, left outside edge of foot onto the floor, mat, whatever you want to call it, right hand to right hip. And then if your hips are sinking down, really get that press into the floor and a scoop up towards the ceiling through your hips and waist. Stay or press your right leg high and lower it down. And two more times, keep breathing. And lower it down, and one more, press it up and lower it down. Come on through forearm plank, so both forearms to the mat. Take an inhale, and then exhale. Let's bring knees to the floor, and child's pose. Let that go. One round of breath. Okay, just about finished here. Let's come back to hands and knees. Downward dog, right leg rises. Breathe in and then pull that shin forwards for your pigeon stretch. So just a little release before we end here. So right shin forwards, hips nice and square. Finding your edge of stretch, releasing down to your forearms. Rest your forehead on something. Easy shoulders, easy head, and take about 3 or 4 rounds of breath right where you are. You can start to allow yourself now to have the feeling of sinking into the mat. So before with more of that muscular engagement. There's more of a feeling of like pressing the ground away from you, keeping yourself supported. And here you can soften that and start to release your weight down into the floor a bit more. Let's lift back up, hands to the mat. And from that nice belly core connection, we'll lift the hips and just step back to downward dog. Other side, left leg reaches high. Pull your shin forwards and pigeon stretch on the other side. So again, hips nice and square, coming forwards. Rest your forehead on the mat or on your hands or something else. And about 4 rounds of breath here. Softening your weight into the floor. Letting your breath rate, your heart rate start to slow down again. Breathing nice and steady, nice and smooth. So nice calm inhale, calm exhale. And then come on up this time. Let your weight sink over into that left hip and just swing your right leg around to the front. So a quick little seated twist, right foot to the outside of your left thigh. You can always extend that bottom leg if you want or have it tucked underneath you. Really, whatever is more accessible to you. Right fingertips tent behind you, and let's wrap that left forearm around your right shin. And then inhale, lengthen out of the crown of your head, get nice and tall, and exhale, nice spiral around into that seated spinal twist. And 2 more breaths. Inhale, and exhale, keep sitting as tall as you can as you wring yourself out. Last round of breath. Come on back through center, and let's switch legs. So left foot's going to cross to the outside of your right thigh. Wrap that opposite arm around your shin, and left fingertips back behind you. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale to spiral around. So again, 2 more rounds of breath, just like that. Keep getting taller. Like you could puff up little airbags between each and every one of your vertebrae. You could actually make yourself get an inch or 2 taller. And then let's release. Come on back through center. And swing your legs back around behind you so you're sitting on your knees, on your shins. Stack your hips up on top of your knees and really press your hips forward so you get this nice open space in the front of your hip flexors, your hip creases. Think of a strong low core connection, pubic bone trying to pull up towards your belly button. Lower back nice and protected. And then wrap your arms behind you, interlace your hands, hug and squeeze the shoulders back to puff up towards the ceiling through your chest. So it's kind of like a modified camel pose where we're really trying to open the front line of the body. If you want to have your hands on the back of your pelvis instead, that's fine, or hands to your heels, that's up to you. Let's take 2 more breaths. So inhale, puff the chest. Exhale, keep that low core connection really, really strong. And 1 more time, breathing in, puff, 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 puff the chest. And then exhale back to your neutral. Sink your hips back to your heels. And for our last couple of breaths, child's pose to release. So come all the way down and fully give your weight to the floor. Soft shoulders, soft face, head and neck. And 1 more round of breath. Deep inhale through your nose. And that big clearing, softening exhale out through your mouth. And if you're feeling good and you just want to stay there in child's pose, please do so. That is the end of the practice, so thanks for tuning in. and take care.